going to be going over top lock, the idea of a top lock. So covering my partner's shoulder to help me get to an armbar. So like we were talking about in a previous video about the different kinds of attacks, these attacks where I'm going to go spines perpendicular to each other, and either my hips or my shoulders are going to remain underneath my partner. I'm not getting both out. So on these types of attacks, the other things I'm thinking about are getting my shins parallel, and very often covering a shoulder is going to be a good idea. So just for example here, if you just kind of down, just to elbows down, just to see the basic position. One thing you need to remember to get a top lock, you need the elbow, whichever elbow you want to top lock, you need it coming in, okay? This angle that my partner's shoulder makes with his upper arm has to be acute angle, not obtuse like this. His elbow needs to be coming inside the line of his shoulder, okay? Once I have that, I'm going to have a chance to make a top lock. So just looking at the position itself, I could walk my legs up. Okay, so you see my shins are getting close to that parallel angle. My inner thigh and inner knee is covering the shoulder. Our spines are going perpendicular. Okay, and then I'm going to lock my legs. Now, again, we don't want to be just squeezing to control somebody for any of these positions. So a common mistake is to just squeeze here, and my partner's escape is to just drive his shoulder back into my guard. Okay, so if he's, even if I'm squeezing hard, if he just drives his shoulder back in, he's going to be able to get it back in. Okay, so when I get here, I want to make sure I'm not just squeezing, but I'm using my guard to actually turn his shoulders. I want to line his shoulders up with my spine. I'm doing that with my guard. So I'm not just squeezing, but I'm physically turning this shoulder deeper into my guard. Okay, from here, on our top locks, we can just go for basic. We can finish the armbar right here, or of course we can cover and make that final transition. Usually is gonna be what you're looking to do, is just use this to stabilize, to get your angle, and then come around and get your basic armbar. Okay, so again, I can, if my partner's elbows are down, relax here. I could be climbing to this position here, or you can use like pendulum type of motions here to get to the top lock. Okay. Now, the top lock is going to be most useful following up off of an attack, usually kind of trying to grab one last attack after a little exchange of offense and defense between my partner and I. So usually I'm not going to be pulling my partner down and locking him into a top lock as my first plan of attack. But for example, one way I like to use this is if I have this kind of arm drag scenario here, my partner is bringing his elbow back strongly. If I really resist him, sometimes I can get a flower sweep right here, okay? But if it doesn't go, if I don't knock him over, I'm gonna cover the shoulder, twist, and I can top lock here, okay? And then I can start working my arm bar, boom, right there, okay? So again, I want the back. He's coming back in. I'm trying to flower. I start to knock him over. I can't knock him over all the way. I cover, twist, and lock my top lock. As he tries to come back in and face and square with me, I can rotate his shoulders. Okay, so that's one. Let's move back a little bit here. Another thing, again, to think about your top lock as just like a supplement to a lot of your other attacks. If we look at just the basic armbar, often when you're making this sort of attack, if it's hard to bring this leg around, if I haven't got this shin as far as I would like it, a lot of times this inner thigh and inner knee can just act as an extra push to help me get that last little rotation. So if I don't get my shin as high as I want it, I cover his shoulder, push. I have the top lock angle, I might not even have to lock it. I can just go straight to the armbar at that point. So you can kind of think of this aspect of the top lock where I cover that shoulder the same way I would like to cover it in a triangle. This can help me make that final transition to the armbar. Okay. Now let's see. Just to draw some little connections. Now we've seen enough together that we can start just trying to connect the pieces. It's not always about new techniques. But let's say, for instance, I have my top lock here, okay, and my partner pulls the arm out, right? So here I can make my wrong way triangle. I can start to clear his arm for that Kimura we did from the overhook series, the triangle, the omoplata, but hopefully you recognize this position from that overhook series that we did, okay? So now we're getting to the point where we've got enough of the basic vocabulary of this closed guard series that we're just going to start trying to draw as many connections as we can. Just another idea on how to use your top lock here. This happens a lot when you start attacking flower or pendulum sweeps. So if I'm going for a pendulum sweep, I'm digging my arm under, and my partner knows what's going on. He starts to lean the correct direction to defend the pendulum sweep, okay? So now I'm going to start climbing my legs up him for the top lock, okay? So I'm going to start pulling and climbing my hips up my partner to try to make the top lock here. Now usually he's not going to let me get that far, because when he feels what's coming, he's going to throw his weight back forward, okay? And then I'm going to be able to do my pendulum sweep. Okay, so again, one more time. He's going to correctly defend for the pendulum sweep, all right? But he's kind of taken his base and his balance. He's kind of gone down a cul-de-sac here. He has to turn around. There's nowhere really left for him to go. So even though the top lock is probably not going to get me the finish here, I can start climbing, and looking for the top lock, and my partner has to come back. When he comes back, I have my pendulum sweep that he avoided in the first place.